you that was out there?
Yeah, there's some more people signing in.
Oh, this is boring. You gonna need writing utensils on that? Are you gonna need writing utensils?
That's an informational piece that we'll talk about. People can do this, we'll also put this online for people, and then the next meeting will be the focus part where we're bringing names to the light, having those conversations and starting to wean it down. This half and half is going to be a very new thing. It's hard to how do you communicate with the people also that are around.
You're doing that tomorrow, right?
I'm sorry.
We're doing that tomorrow. Everybody's
Wrong so far.
Let's go.
Dr. Coleman. Yourself?
Never signed up for something like this, you know?
I said to Matt, I think of him so often because he came into his position with fire and rescue.
He's that easy. Got no students. Wait a minute.
He'd rather have the students.
Got great graduation rate. Look at his test scores. Off the roof. Right? 0 failure. Not many principals can say that. Just can't give a, you tell them whatever score you want too, right?
The stories, well, you know, we used to talk about the asbestos, that era.
Was anybody outside behind you three?
That's what she did.
Okay, 4. Anybody else?
Hi.
Is there anybody else behind you?
I didn't see anyone.
We're gonna get started then. This isn't gonna, if you can't hear me, let me know this isn't for you, as I was told. I'm gonna use my gym voice, but this is Mr. Herbert. So, good evening, and I welcome you to our first meeting of our, I also have handouts for people here. Anybody else not have one? Well, the handouts are an overview of tonight's meeting, and for the people that are online, we will make sure we post this first thing tomorrow morning. I apologize for that, and after that, we will have it posted ahead of time. The goal of tonight's meeting, we're going to talk about that. Our goal for tonight is to kind of understand the guidelines and where we're going to go with this, what the objective is, and what the outcome is, and getting input from you guys, you ladies and gentlemen, on the direction we want to go. Dates for follow-up meetings after tonight. Just so that you're well aware, what my goal is this. My job after tonight is to be your facilitator. My job is to do all the talking and you do all the sitting. This is going to be a very interactive process to provide opportunity for input, get feedback, and our ultimate goal is to come up with a mascot between us and the people that are online that are not here tonight to get input about bringing 1 or 2 potential mascots before the Board of Education for approval. That's my aspirational goal. The process, we're going to brainstorm ideas, not really tonight, but starting the next meeting that we will come up with a date. I've got a couple of dates to choose from just because of the schedule I have. We want to make sure it aligns with a consensus from most of you. Our goal is to use this handout tonight. I'll share with you on the back page. My job also is to let you know is that we just can't come up with anything we want without vetting some ideas as far as legalities and liability pieces. So, you know, we're not gonna, one thing that I want to make sure is that we're thoughtful in our process. This is what we call branding. This is a chance to rebrand Peru. I want to bring you back a couple things before we begin also. A lot of things changed on July 13, 2020 with our Board of Education as they went before themselves and had a meeting, and after an hour discussion, elected during the tumultuous times that we were in to cease the use of Indians as the name of Peru Central Schools. We later changed that language because it was really harsh to be what we call retired. So we are not forgetting the Indians. It is not something that is disgraceful. It was something at a time when people were very proud of it, and we need to respect the history, but as we move forward, it's a new day. So I just want to make sure everybody understands that it's not about going backwards, it's about going forward. We're going to talk about branding. What is branding? It's a title you put on a brand, whether it's a school district, whether it's a food, whether it's a business, anything like that, to make sure that you want people to come to you. I believe branding for us is inspiring others to believe in what we did here. You had a very strong belief system here with Mr. Berry leading the way when you talked about the 5 spheres and talking about the values. And I talked about this with our students earlier in the summer. That didn't change the values of what you believe in for sports and what you believe. Doesn't matter really what your mascot is. You still can have that strong belief system of what you want to achieve through competition, fair play, hard work, dedication. That's not only for one single property. You can do that through any entity. A mascot is a branding name. So what are our next steps after tonight? Like I said, I don't want to do all the talking tonight, but if you have any questions, stop me at any time. The committee members are going to use this worksheet to craft a name, potentially an art piece, and the reasons we choose that particular character. What are your characteristics in your heart? I added that one, so. But your characteristics are attributes that you want the mascot to emulate at Peru. We'll bring choices before the committee group at our next meeting to begin to have conversations about the names that have been thought of. I like the worksheet in my office by Friday of the previous week when we decide what the names are going to be, or your selection of names. I like those a week ahead of time so I can also vet them and make sure that we don't have any legal issues with them. But I'm going to bring them all back to the team. But I may put denial on the one and the rationale for it. Did everybody understand that? For transparency purposes, there's no bad answer. If you're making a commitment to us and to be part of this process, there's no bad.
So,
yes, ma'am.
when you're going to be making the denials,
yes,
you're going to get the reasons for
yes,
the denial?
yep.
Okay, and you're going to want these a week before the next.
Well, let's just say we did October 27th.
Okay.
I would like that to be the 20th, 21st, 22nd. By October 23rd, Friday before. Okay? So that gives me a couple of days just to check to see if there's anything out there, anything of hostility, anything going on to make sure that we're not wasting our time going down that way.
Where do you expect everybody to drop that to you? Can they do it?
We're going to do it 2 ways. We're going to have an opportunity to do it online. We'll have a Google Doc that will be crafted, and you also have the template here that you can also use that if you choose to do so. Okay? We're going to stay within the importance of the time frames. In the next meeting, we're going to select the ones on consensus that you can live with. So you can have 20 in here, and we're starting to go down and start to mitigate them down to a smaller number. Now, some people in here, maybe you're committed to this. It's a great opportunity for a conversation. The goal is to narrow our choices, if not the next meeting, because if we have the same number of people or a few more, and they bring their ideas in, we may have to have 2 meetings to bring it down. Could be 3 meetings. Again, people are here for a reason. You're committed and addicted to the fact that you want to be part of the process. You're going to be respected and going through the process, so we will have an opportunity. So the ultimate goal that I hope anyway, and we can even talk about that, is to bring it down to possibly 2 choices or 3 choices that you really feel strong with as a group, and the people online also, and then have a vote. What a great way to do a civics opportunity for our kids from grades 1 through 12 to have a vote on what they like the best. We also should have some community input, but I'm very committed to the fact that we want the students to have that opportunity. Anything on that, girls? Good, bad? We want our school community to be able to vote. So the dates for future meetings. October 20th or 27th will be our next one. Does anybody, as a group, let me ask you.
What's that day? please.
Those dates?
Which day of the week?
I'll tell you, what's
They're both
It's both Tuesday.
Tuesdays?
Yeah.
Tuesdays are my best day, that's my least. So Tuesday the 20th or the 27th, we can vote by, who prefers the 20th?
Why don't we do both? And then that way, we can eliminate one if we don't need it.
Well, we do the 20th first, and then. Remember, you had something?
I don't know, you said, do we prefer the 20th or the 27th? Are we like raising our hands for what day we would prefer?
Mrs. Phillips said, we can start with the 20th, and we need a 27th, we can do that also. Is that,
Any way to move it to a Wednesday?
Wednesdays are bad.
Okay.
I
Or a
got it.
Monday?
I'm sorry?
Or a Monday?
Mondays are better.
Okay. Tuesday.
I cheated a little bit on my schedule too, because I've got so many other things going on the rest of the week, so.
Okay.
Is everybody? So you want to go with the 20th?
Yeah.
And then we'll progress from that date? Sorry, yes, ma'am.
Is there a chance that we can do like a circle?
We will.
Okay.
This will be a completely different format. Probably the first start, we'll probably start as a large circle and then move into smaller circles. We still have to maintain out of respect to everybody is a social distancing of 6 feet. But yes, ma'am.
6 o'clock again?
6 o'clock. 6 o'clock work for everybody?
Yep.
And we'll do dependent times, because I like timelines. I don't like going over. You want an hour and a half? You want 2 hours? People, students got other lives also as far as classwork and stuff. You want 6 to 7:30?
Yeah, 6
My student athletes?
6 to 7:30.
My students, right? 6 to 7:30 will be our scheduled time. We'll start promptly at 6 and we'll end at 7:30. If we're not done, that's okay, because we'll continue from that point on. Everybody good with that? So times of meeting, we solve those two things. So the next part I have on your handout, if you get a chance, is the right mascot. A nice little document that I found online, and you kind of have to answer your own questions. If you look at the first one, I love defense, and I also like true statements to the fact, do you want to promote yourself as a person? Then that means you have a human mascot. If you sell specific products, it's easy to visualize. It's an object, such as a pen. I know the people online don't have this. We'll have this posted up first thing tomorrow morning. Do you provide a service that can be associated with an object? It's an object. It's such things as a truck, a pencil, something definitive like that. Do you provide a service or a product that can be associated with an animal? Or do you need a visual appearance of a mascot to be associated with the values of your brand? Those are animal mascots. What is the ultimate purpose of a mascot? It's to resonate with our audience. It's to resonate with our kids, to be associated thereof. The primary purpose of a mascot is to help build and strengthen our identity. It should not be our identity. Still, it's our students that are driving this, but it gives an association thereof. The Yankees, the Red Sox, people's associated with that, the commitment and the peace. What does Peru want to be called? What do you want to associate yourself with? The other part is, on this handout sheet that I have for you, your name is optional. You could put several. I can't appreciate enough the people taking the time out of your schedule to be here tonight. Not everybody can do that. If you have several choices, it does not limit you. We're going to make sure we limit one vote, but these are opportunities to put things on the wall to figure out the next mascot. So your name is optional. You do not have to put your name on this. I would like the community position now only for the fact that we know who's being involved. And you can put multiple check boxes by it, whether you're a student, only a student, or a student athlete, you can check both. If you're a parent and an alumni member of the Peru Central School District, I want to know historical models also. Current staff member, staff member or a coach that served in our district. Did I miss any subgroups? They're good? Okay. The biggest piece that we want, though, is to have an association on why you think it should be the mascot you think. So what are your attributes or characteristics that you're going to identify the Peru Central School District with? Does everybody know what attributes are? Any questions on that? It's what you feel. Why do you want to be called, and I know I use this, and I know it's probably not real at all, so don't worry about it, the Peru Penguins. Why do you want to be associated with the Penguins? They're clean. They have a tuxedo. They're one of the cleaner birds. I don't know, I'm just, but what's the attribute? They're loyal, they're committed to their flock. Whatever it is that you're actually picking, why do you think that should be attributed to Peru? And I just did a really poor job on advocating for a penguin. So you can have a much better choice than that. You can't say they're fast, you can't say they're sleek.
Well, they are fast, they have life.
So this sheet though is what we want to work off of, because then we can start to formulate. If you have more than 5 great qualities, characteristics that you want to put on that piece, great. Fill the sheet up. Any questions on that? Matt, do you have any questions at this time? Does anybody just have questions in general as we start this process? You have a quiet group tonight. Should have planned for look at that, icebreaker activity. See, Penguin would have worked. All right, so my goal, if you want to work a little bit tonight, you're more than welcome to. The next meeting, we're going to set up chairs, maybe the smaller circles, but have an opportunity to share the ideas you have. I will have them ahead of time. So if we're talking about the 20th, then that means, let's see, the 2nd, the 9th. Right, October 2nd, the 9th, the 16th. On Friday the 16th. You can submit multiple if you are. I'm not the judge and jury. The only judge and jury I am is, can we use it from a legal sense? Maya can tell me she wants to do sneakers. Okay, if that's what she selected, then you can look at it and she can say a lot of different things about those. But whatever it is, that's your choice. My job is to facilitate and to help people. My job is not to direct you towards one thing. There is no hidden agenda on this. It is community-led. It's going to be a shared decision-making model where we're going to have conversations. We may have leaders in each smaller groups and bring some of these out and tease them out within the group. I hope it's a really good process, and I hope you feel committed to it where you feel you're going to make a difference. Because that's my goal, is to make sure you feel like you have a voice. This is local politics at its best, guys, to get this opportunity, because as you watch the world, as you climb higher, you have less and less control. Your input is highly needed and valued. Does anybody have any questions? Yes, sir.
Do we have a chance to make a statement, or is it a question?
You want them stand up for statements, Chris?
The microphone should pick up no matter what.
Okay, then you don't need to stand up.
It's okay?
Yep.
My name is John Petro, and I'm a former Peruvian myself. I graduated here in 1983. I played football and baseball for Peru. And a lot of my peers joked to me that this room is going to be full of white-haired old men who were going to rage for the Indians, okay? They're not around. But I'm here because I was just like you when I was in school. I was very proud of my school. And I embodied all the attributes that the Indians spoke to me. And I think a lot of you probably have also. So it's important to me to be a part of this next move. I'm glad that you're retiring the Indian's name, because I do think that's appropriate. Because a lot of people hold that very dear. And I think there's some that are against changing the name. But the name change is gonna happen, and it should be something that's thoughtful. And I just wanted to say that I downloaded something called The History of Peru, New York by Lincoln Sunderland. Mr. Sunderland used to be a professor here in the 80s, maybe even the 90s. And he wrote a book about the history of Peru, a 200-page book. And it's mostly about the history right from the 1700s to current day. And it was a $5 download, so it cost me $5. But it refers to a lot of the animals of the region, a lot of things that you're talking about, animals, objects, people, things. They'll give you an idea maybe of the house. And maybe you just have an idea of something that sounds cool, and that's also what they're doing.
Do you agree with what I was asking you on that time, or is it not fair to ask you about the attributes or characteristics? Do you feel like somebody should at least define that a little bit?
Yes.
Guys, young people too? Does it make sense though? It's a cool name, but does it mean anything? You know, because you want somebody at least associating your school district, as we talk about fancy words like transformation, right? We're not looking to completely flip and change Peru. The pride of Peru is still here. If you look at a number of senior people, or seasoned people here also, they're committed also besides our young people. That shows you a lot. So you've got people that are committed and convicted to this for the right reasons. So we want to really make sure that we have something that's going to emulate what we want us to aspire to be. And I don't have a clear, yes ma'am.
What you're saying is very accurate to the way I'm feeling and some other people that I've talked to, and I'm supporting what John is saying as well. Pretty emotional, because the Indians replicated the way we felt, the way we played our sports, and I even went to the point of talking to the chief, because I did not want to do anything just to disrespect the word Indian. And when I met with him, he said, I don't have a problem as long as you're not using any tomahawk gestures, painting your faces, anything of that nature. And he said, and everything that we've watched with Peru has been extremely respectful. So I think the word retirement really has to be driven home, because I felt very offended on how the whole process came about with the retirement of the word Indian without even knowing it was going to happen. So I'm just expressing.
It didn't change until July 13th. It wasn't.
But my point is nobody knew that that was even going to be considered. And I'm just saying to you, I'm glad you're doing this now, because it gives us the opportunity to at least let you know how strongly we felt about that Indian word. And
that's why we really try to change the word to retire, and it won't just vanish. It may vanish eventually off our uniforms, so things in the trophy cases and things like that will not just automatically go away. It's part of the history of our school.
Right. And I'm just expressing to you that I'm glad you're now including us to be able to move forward. And I want to just say thank you for allowing that to happen.
It's long-standing history. I respect that piece, and that's very important, because it's about buy-in. It's about community. And I had the kids here in July, and then I also had a parent community group. Right, Gary? Had a community group, and there's anger, they're still upset, and I get that, and I respect that, and it's okay to have. And Kathy, I don't mean this any way disrespectful, outbursts, emotional piece, because it was a major part of people's lives. And so as we move forward, we may have moments. That's okay. You know, but we have to move forward, so we'll trudge along forward as fast or as slow as this group collectively wants to move.
Can you just explain to me why that had to happen? Who brought forward the fact that it had to happen, that we had to retire it.
Board meeting on July 13, 2020. It was on a new business item. A board member brought it up. There was a conversation about an hour, going back and forth. And the board elected to vote at that night that they wanted to retire the Indian name. That they felt, because at that time also, there was a lot of hostility across the country. There was a number of pieces there. And then after further research also, that, just to share with you, in 1999 and 2000, I apologize, the Commissioner of Education, Mr. Mills, was in the seat at that time, and he told everybody that they needed to cease to use the name Indian in their mascot. A number of districts did not. That went back to 1999. And in 2010, I know you and another person also spoke to the chief, but then there was also a letter directly saying that asked the Board of Education to stop using the name Indian at that time.
Who was it?
Who was
I mean, I
what?
don't need a name, but
Who was what?
who's the letter from?
That was also, I'd have to look up the Indian, the chief's name. There was two chiefs that signed it. I can share it with you. If you want to come in one day, I'll be happy to share it with you.
But see,
But as far as the urgency of this, I've said it in public, I've said it here that night also. I was not support of doing this right away for the fact that I needed to give the community an opportunity to grieve.
right,
It was still probably inevitable that was going to happen with the nature of what was happening in today's society, but it still needed to have conversation with people. It happened on July 13th, like that, within an hour.
but I just want to go on record, I don't think that was fair. To the community.
But Kathy, we're done on that
I
though.
know, but.
This isn't record for that. This,
I understand that, but I still feel I need to say that. And I'm
tomorrow night's a
not-
board
I'm not gonna say
meeting,
that.
tomorrow night's a board meeting, you're happy to stress your dismay on that.
It's not gonna happen. I mean, there's no point to this.
I work for the Board of Education. My job is to move forward and try to keep this as positive as we can and move in a positive way. That's all I can do.
That's all I'm gonna do too. I'm
So-
just making a point of saying it was hurtful.
So, for anybody else have anything? Anybody questions on that? Would you like to see that online in the Google Doc form as far as making it easier to submit that? Okay? Miss, do you have any questions there from the community?
No, not yet.
Yes.
Would you have our us fill out these forms now or in time for the next meeting or?
Say that again, McGee.
When do you want us to fill these out? Like now?
You can fill those out anytime you want and submit them. Like I said, you can also submit multiple, okay? The sooner than later helps me only for the fact of going through it. And I will share it. We could probably do a Google Doc to share it. There's no hidden here. The whole piece that I asked of, if you're going to put a name down, you must, in order for it to count as anything, you must have something associated with attributes. What's it modeled? Why? And me personally now, you guys are going to the group, you can shut me down on this one. Not because I like it. I don't think that's a legitimate, justified answer. You gotta have something associated. What makes you compelled that you want to be a better person, you want to work harder, you think that's an emulation of what this community is? You guys agree or disagree? A name by itself that gives you no substance. You can bring it to life by really sharing on what you believe. It could be the craziest thing in the world. I don't know, tire iron. I don't think that'd be the best one in my eyes, but if you committed to that and said it's strong, it's steel, and you go on and on and on. Nothing's gonna be laughed at, nothing's gonna be, but the honest truth though is, you've gotta be able to articulate, why do you think that'd be a great mascot? How can you get people? It's not about me. How are you gonna get your classmates? How are you gonna get the younger kids, the older kids, the community to back that and support that? Is it a catchy thing? Is it something of tradition? We also got the, next generation of kids are here. Something that you're going to leave your legacy for students moving forward. So, after tonight, you will not hear me talk all the time. It's you directed. I talk too much as it is, so it's your turn to talk and share and have an opportunity. And if you don't want to stay in front of large groups, then we can definitely we'll do smaller groups anyway. Matt, do we have anybody at all?
Second. No, just Mr. Barry, I'm meeting there, Mr. and I together working on a Google form that was sent out. I'll make sure that I send it to the high school student body, share the other principals for building pages. And obviously, my use on distribution lists. So.
Are you guys all in agreement though that the only two things I ask is the mascot name is there's got to be something associated with it? That's a null and void then. That's not a, somebody just can't say, oh, it's a really cool name and then give no reasons. I'm not going to agree or disagree with your reasons, so everybody knows that. That's a personal decision, but we have to make sure that we fall within the realms. Everybody know what DASA is? The Dignity for All Students Act. For some of the older generation, it came in new. It's like the old thing when you heard you cannot discriminate based on race, creed, and color. Now there's 10 classifications that are also associated thereof. So we cannot go into affected classes like that also. If you need more guidance, I'd be happy to give you that. If you need to know that under DASA, that even stands for like slang names for things that you may think are kind of questionable, but it clearly identifies that.
Is there anything on the top of your head that's absolutely not going to be able to, like any kind of,
Warrior?
what?
Warrior? Associated with, is that what you're talking about, a name like that?
I'm not talking about any particular name per se. Is there anything that you have come across that is definitely off? That I'm not going to Like I know, like no Indian names, obviously.
Right.
Okay. Is there anything
Nothing.
else in like a subgroup that you?
Well, the subgroups are what we're kind of talking about when we start talking about the DASA piece. We want to make sure that we don't talk about another nationality,
Correct.
inappropriate things like that. A lot of times when you look at a lot of the mascots that are out there, a lot of them are very animal oriented. I don't know anybody by the name of Petzels, but there's owls, there's eagles. You got things.
Yeah.
I mean, the other thing is if you're looking online, there's another opportunity. Look at all the college ones. I mean, there's 120 some major colleges. I mean, you can at least come up with something. Ms. Miro just made a great point too about what, do you want to associate yourself with the North Country? What animals are native to here? I always like champs, I thought, personally, guys. Think about it. If you win a championship, you can start playing clean. We are the champions. You ever got, done like that one? Okay. Anyway,
What's your mascot?
champs.
How's
Looks like a brontosaurus. I don't know. Brontosaurus sticking out of the water, but you're the champs. I know, they're big and slow animal. I get that. But they do, the animals land and
It's
sea.
not like a name and get the attributes and characteristics and all that, but are you going to actually have an actual symbol to go along with that?
That's number 2 below your name. If you guys are creative artistically, or if you want to cut and paste something, it also, you don't have to define everything. If this group collectively, that's a great point. If this group collectively comes up with a name you like, you may not have the artwork, the graphic piece to go with that very second. That may be a separate conversation. If you use the word owl, use a bird, any bird name. Are you going to use the bird's head? Are you going to use their tail feather? Are you going to use their talons? You know, there's multiple ways to look at that. If you're a beaver, you're going to do the beaver's head, you're going to do his tail. In fact, you know, it's a chance to have those conversations, and also we'll go before the kids and the staff and the greater school community on this is what our selection is. It's a two-step process. It probably go hand in hand. More than likely, if you got something in the back of your head that you like as a mascot, you probably also got that animal in your head.
But that being said, Mr. Urban will use the Google form. If you do have a file, or you create a file, you can enter the link and we can see it.
Any other questions? You don't have to freehand it. You have to be careful about copyrights. But if you got, you know, you cut and paste the file though in, it's to bring it back to have a conversation with this group. And if anybody else that's online wants to come in and join us, if you have other people that are associated that aren't able to be here tonight, this is not closed. It is a commitment. Your voice will be heard and part of the process going forward. So next week, or not next week, I apologize, October 20th, we will have a series. Do me a favor though, if you can definitely make it, just so it makes my life a little easier as far as, I will make sure that everyone has their own folder with all of the ideas in there, so you can, you know, so you can pull it out and there's organization. Now also, for our more tech savvy younger people, if you want to bring out your Chromebook, we can also have that in digitally. What's your guys' thoughts? You want paper or do you?
I mean, it's probably
Whatever you guys feel, you can do it both ways.
You don't have a problem doing both ways.
Gary, I know you want to do it digitally, right?
That's what I mean.
Do it both ways, you're good. But on a serious note though, what would you do?
I think we should do both ways. Both ways.
Okay, we'll make sure you have it, that's a great point. So we'll make sure we have it in a folder, but also you have the ability, you'll have a folder. So of all the proposals that we have, you have the folder also, you can see them. Is that good?
Yep.
So the other thing I ask of you is, look at your own personal schedules, if you could make it, if you would just email Sherry again, sprovost at Peru. And what I'll do is, maybe I'll do a better job. Either way, I need to have a return. I can also do a listserv and put everybody's names and emails in that also. Okay? Any other questions? You're such an active group. Is it this time of night? We do it earlier. So, well, I thank everybody for coming out tonight. If you have anything, you can also email me. That is up to you. It's simply tpalmer@perucsd.org also. Instead of S-Provost, you can also have that opportunity. Anybody join us online tonight, the same opportunity. You have the digital opportunity. We can max out, well, because we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's why we said 45, because the normal number right now, according to the health department, is 50. That's why we said 45, because of the other 5 people. All right? So if you have friends, if everybody brought, we can't afford to bring a friend, everybody bring a friend, but if you brought one more person, we could definitely fill the gym. Input's critical. We want you, I want your input. You're gonna shape the next mascot. And I just want you to remember, especially my seasoned people, that the Indian will not be forgotten. It's gonna also be archived with the fact that they'll still be out there. We have that, Kathy, what is that piece in the trophy case with the Indian head?
The male and female,
Yeah.
it's the leadership.
That leadership piece will not just go away. So we are still, like I said, we're gonna respect what was and what will be. So I thank everybody for coming out tonight. And next week, October 20th, we will plan for a good work session, and we'll definitely make sure the duration of time. All right? Thank you, everybody. Thank you. You got one already, all right.